Ken Squier is the first recipient of the Kenny Bouchard Memorial Award. Ron Bouchard. I was looking at Kenny. I see him over there. Memorial Award is for outstanding lifetime service to racing. Ken Squier is the son of a Vermont radio broadcasting pioneer. Kennedy Dean Squier was born in Waterbury, Vermont in 1935. His on-air work with WDEV radio began when he was just 12 years old. And in 1949, he began his motorsports career when at the age of 14, he announced his first stock car race from the back of a logging truck at a long-gone field in a small town of Morrisville. From there, he branched out to places like Mallett's Bay Speedway near Burlington, Northeastern Speedway near St. Johnsbury, Monadnock Speedway in New Hampshire, and several other tracks. In 1960, at the age of 25, he built and opened Thunder Road International Speed Bowl in Barre, Vermont. Thunder Road raced then, as it does now, on Thursday night. That choice was no accident. Barre is known as the granite capital of the world, and Ken knew that the local quarries paid their workers on Thursday. He wanted that money first, and he got it. Thunder Road averaged 6,500 spectators every week for the first several years and eventually became one of the premier short tracks in the nation. Ken created the track's signature event, the famed Vermont Milk Bowl, in 1962, in which the winner was decided on a 3-segment total score and had the honor of kissing the local beauty queen. And I always get a kick out of this when I saw it in Speedway scene. It was a genuine dairy crowd. Unbelievable. Ken built Catamount near Burlington in 1965, hosting weekly modified and late model races to a packed house. He worked in television through 2000. One of the earliest events that he called, of course, was the Talladega race in 1981, when this award's namesake, Ron Bouchard,
put Fitchburg on the map,
captured one of the most exciting upset victories in NASCAR history. Ken and Ron shared their New England pride down in Dixie for years and were great friends. I guess he did, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He put Pittsburgh, Massachusetts on the map along with Ken Bouchard and Ron.
That's okay. We'll get through it.
The NASCAR success translated to other sports. Ken called kart and Formula One races as part of CBS Olympic coverage in the early 1990s. He was recently reintroduced to a new generation of racing fans by NBC during an annual Darlington Throwback event. In the meantime, now, at age 81, Ken can be found on a microphone at Thunder Road every Thursday night, so long as he's not announcing in Charlotte, Loudon, or elsewhere. He works at his beloved WDEV every day and still hosts Vermont's favorite radio program, Music to Go to the Dump On. Only in Vermont, I think. I'm not sure. Every Saturday morning, and he's also chairman of the Vermont Symphony Orchestra. Now, it is a complete flip. The NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2013 created the Squier Hall Award for NASCAR's media and excellence in honor of Ken and fellow broadcaster Barney Hall. He is a member of several Halls of Fame, including ours, the Nair Hall of Fame, when he was inducted in 2002. Now he adds the inaugural Ron Bouchard Award to his already crowded mantle. Ken is not able to be here today. He is not feeling well. It's amazing of that career. When I read this, it was like I was there on television watching so many of these things. It's almost like watching Mr. Craven on ESPN every week. It's there all the time. It was great. Receiving his award for him today is a fellow who just left here, Justin St. Louis. Justin? We got you. You want to say anything? You're good.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
I think I need to start charging a service fee for this. Ken has a bum leg right now, and he's sorry that he couldn't make it down today, but he did want me to pass on these words and some of my own. First, he wanted me to thank the folks from NEAR for the consideration in winning the inaugural Ron Bouchard Award. As you know, he's abundantly proud to be a New Englander, and he and Ron became good friends as they traveled what was then the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit in the early 80s. Ken told me that among the countless memorable races and sporting events that he's called over a career spanning 65 years, still going strong, he counts calling Ron Bouchard's win at Talladega as one of his fondest highlights, both professionally and personally. He was proud of such an unpredictable accomplishment by a team from back home. Now, you may recall that as the final laps came around, CBS's live video feed from Talladega dropped out, but the audio remained, and Ken instantly and organically switched from his television call to his radio voice, which obviously demands a little bit more description and excitement because there's no picture, of course. And in illustrating a moment that 35 years later, what a call it was, and it still thrives in the annals of NASCAR history, he described the finish immediately as impossible, and in a formation resembling, and I quote, a squadron of B-51s out of World War II, end quote. The kid from Fitchburg shocked the world and beat Darrell Waltrip and Terry Labonte with a win. And of course, back home in Fitchburg, the family was watching, or listening, I guess, and in frustration with CBS's technical difficulties, and in a sports desk wrap-up a few days later, Ken described how Bob Bouchard, quote, carefully picked up his television set and thrust it through the wall. So, and of course, it's that style and candor that has endeared Ken Squier to millions of racing and sports fans around the globe. And I'm fortunate to have actually competed at a couple of his tracks for a few years, and now I'm proud to say that I'm in my 14th year of working for him. I had hair when I started. He's still got more than I do. I definitely learned from the best, and I know that, but as a Vermonter, I'm lucky that I get to hear him in action every day on the radio, and yes, he still does host Music to Go to the Dump by every Saturday. As successful as he has been, it'd be somewhat understandable if he let that celebrity go to his head and didn't have any time for us little people, but I can tell you that's not the case, and it never will be. And I didn't know Ron Bouchard, but everything that I've been told, he's the same way. In spite of his status as a nationally recognized athlete or his unignorably successful business ventures, he did, as Ken does, have time for everyone. I will leave you with this brief story about Ken. In the mid-1990s, only 24 hours after calling one of the Daytona 500s on live TV for millions of people across the country and around the world, 24 hours later, Ken was in a high school gymnasium in Hardwick, Vermont, a small, rural, backwoods town of about 3,000 people, on a cold February night, which is about as far away from the sands of Daytona Beach as you can possibly get. And after making God knows how much money for CBS just 24 hours before, he took a financial loss to go announce a high school girls basketball game for WDEV radio on Monday night. My friend and colleague, Tom Haley from the Rutland Herald newspaper, was covering the game that night, and he remembers the action is fairly dreadful. And the way sports go where we're from, the winning team probably only scored 20 points. No matter. Ken called the game with the same passion and enthusiasm for those high school girls as he did for Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon the day before. And after it was over, Tom Haley asked Ken, you know, you were just announcing one of the biggest events in the sporting world. Why would you even care to be here? And Ken's answer was, because their audiences care the same. Never forget your roots, and Ron Bouchard didn't, Ken Squier hasn't, and on behalf of Ken, thank you.